Change often begins with a moment of emotional clarity. It's in that split second when you become truly aware of where you are, where you've been, and most importantly, where you're headed. If you're dissatisfied with your current circumstances, there's a powerful and undeniable force in feeling disgusted with yourself, your situation, or the direction your life is taking. It's not a comfortable feeling, but it's one that, if used properly, can be your greatest motivator. The truth is, we often don't change because things are easy or comfortable. We change because we hit a point where we've had enough. We become disgusted with the results of our own inaction, laziness, or excuses. And that disgust pushes us to finally make a decision. Think about it for a moment. When you look at your life and you feel that sense of frustration, disappointment, or dissatisfaction, it's not a bad thing. In fact, it's an opportunity. That's the exact moment when the possibility for change exists. The question is, what are you going to do with that emotion? Are you going to let it pass like every other fleeting thought, or are you going to use it as fuel for a better tomorrow? It's easy to ignore discomfort, to push it down, to rationalize it, or tell yourself that tomorrow will be better. But the problem is, tomorrow doesn't come until you take action today. You have to feel that disgust deeply enough that it compels you to change. The longer you wait, the more comfortable you get in your current circumstances, even if those circumstances aren't what you really want. Comfort and complacency become the enemies of progress. You might look back in a few years and wonder where the time went. But the truth is that time hasn't gone anywhere. It's been wasted, slowly slipping away, moment by moment, until you finally snap out of it. This is where the power of decision comes in. A decision is not just a passive thought. It's an active choice. You decide that enough is enough. You decide that things will no longer stay the same, and that change is the only option. The key here is to understand that a decision to act is the catalyst for everything else. Without it, you remain stuck. Your life stays on pause. But once you make the decision to take action, to move forward, everything else follows. Now, a lot of people talk about taking action, but let's be real for a second. Action requires discipline, and discipline is a muscle that needs to be exercised. If you've ever been to the gym, you know that building strength takes time, effort, and consistency. The same is true with self-discipline. It's not something you just have, it's something you develop over time, step by step, action by action. The key to developing discipline is to start small. You don't have to make grand, sweeping changes all at once. In fact, trying to do too much too quickly can overwhelm you and set you up for failure. Instead, pick one small thing to focus on. Get up 30 minutes earlier than usual. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every morning. Exercise for just 10 minutes a day. Start small and make it a habit, and then expand from there. The more you take consistent action, the easier it becomes to take more action. But here's the truth. Motivation won't always be there to help you. You won't always feel like doing what you know you need to do. There will be days when you'd rather stay in bed, eat junk food, or binge watch Netflix. And that's okay. It's part of the process. The key is not waiting for motivation to strike. Motivation is something that follows action, not something that precedes it. When you start moving, when you start working toward your goals, you'll notice that motivation often appears as a result of the effort you put in. It's the act of showing up, of doing the work, of staying consistent, that generates the energy you need to keep going. The truth is, if you wait until you feel inspired or motivated, you might never move. You have to act first, and let the inspiration follow. Action begets action. Motion creates emotion. You have to stop relying on external circumstances or emotions to dictate your progress. Instead, you need to make the conscious choice to act, regardless of how you feel. Ultimately, it's the disgust you feel with your current situation that becomes the spark. It's the decision to change that provides the fuel, and it's the action that you take each day that keeps the fire alive. It may not be easy at first. In fact, there will be moments when you'll question if it's worth it. But I promise you, When you look back at your life and see the progress you've made, you'll realize that it was those moments of discomfort, when you felt disgusted with yourself and made the decision to act, that changed everything. That's when your life truly began to take shape. That's when the magic happened. Every meaningful change in life begins with a decision. This is not just a casual thought or an idea that you might consider when it's convenient. A decision, the kind that truly changes the trajectory of your life, is a firm, unshakable commitment. It's the moment when you declare to yourself and to the universe that you are no longer going to stay where you are, that you are going to take control of your future. This decision is powerful because it's the starting point for everything else. Without it, progress is impossible. With it, a world of possibilities opens up. Think about it. How often do people wait for the perfect moment? How often do we tell ourselves that we'll start next week, or when the circumstances are better, or after we learn more? The truth is that this is just a form of procrastination. It's an excuse, a way to avoid the hard work and discomfort that change often requires. But here's the thing. The perfect moment never arrives. The stars never align in a way that makes it easy to change. You have to make the decision to move forward before the circumstances are ideal, not because of them. That's the difference between someone who is simply wishing for change and someone who is actively creating it. A decision is not just a mental agreement to change. It's a commitment to action. And action is what fuels the momentum you need to succeed. This is where many people go wrong. They think that once they decide to do something, the path will magically clear up for them. But the truth is, the path often looks messy, confusing, and full of obstacles. It's in the act of moving forward, in the act of making those tough decisions every day, that you begin to carve out a path where one didn't exist before. Making a decision to change is a choice, but it's also a responsibility. When you make a decision, you take ownership of your life and your future. You stop waiting for someone else to take charge of your destiny. Too many people wait for permission, for a sign, or for someone to tell them what to do. But true leaders, true achievers, are the ones who make decisions on their own. They understand that they can't wait for the world to hand them opportunities. Instead, they take initiative and create those opportunities themselves. The power of decision doesn't just lie in making the right choice. It's in the commitment to follow through with that choice every single day. The decision is the spark, but discipline is what keeps the fire burning. Once you've decided to change, you can't afford to let doubts or distractions derail your progress. You have to stay committed to the process, even when it feels difficult, when you don't see immediate results, or when the path is harder than you anticipated. This is where most people fail. They make a decision, but when the going gets tough, they back off, they reconsider, or they quit, and they wonder why they haven't made the progress they wanted. The true power of decision lies in the consistency of action. It's not about making one grand decision and expecting everything to fall into place. It's about making small decisions every day, each one building upon the last. Every time you choose to take action, every time you choose to show up even when you don't feel like it, you reinforce your commitment to that original decision. The more you take action, the more you prove to yourself that you're serious. You start to develop the confidence that comes from knowing that you are someone who follows through, someone who does what they say they'll do. Sometimes the toughest part of making a decision is simply taking that first step, but once you take that step, the next one becomes easier. The momentum you gain from small successes builds your belief in yourself, and soon, you're not just making decisions, you're making things happen. That's the magic of decision. It creates a shift in your mindset. It turns you from a passive participant in your life into an active creator. You stop being a spectator of your future and start becoming the architect of it. And here's the most important thing. When you make a decision to change, you're not just changing your actions, you're changing your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who makes decisions and follows through. This is a transformation that goes beyond the physical changes you make in your life. It's a deep internal shift that allows you to become the person you need to be to achieve your goal. Ultimately, the decision to act is what separates those who talk about change from those who actually make it happen. It's easy to say you want something. It's easy to dream about a better life, but it's the decision to take action, to commit to change, that sets you on the path to success. The power of decision is in your hands. The question is, are you ready to make it? Are you ready to take that first step, even when the road looks unclear? Because that decision is the beginning of everything you want to achieve. Discipline is often misunderstood as something rigid and restrictive, but in reality it's the very foundation of success and personal growth. At its core, discipline is the ability to control your actions, emotions, and behaviors, to make choices that align with your long-term goals, instead of seeking immediate gratification. It's about doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. And like any skill, it must be developed over time, with patience, practice, and persistence. The key to building discipline is starting small. People often make the mistake of trying to overhaul their lives all at once. They set lofty goals, aiming for rapid, dramatic changes, and then become discouraged when they can't maintain the effort required. This kind of all-or-nothing approach leads to burnout and frustration. The truth is, the most lasting change comes from consistent, incremental steps. It's not about making one big leap. It's about making small, manageable improvements every day. Starting with something small and achievable helps you build confidence and momentum. For example, if you want to develop the habit of reading more, start by reading just 10 pages a day. That's manageable. It's not overwhelming. You're not asking too much of yourself. But over time, those 10 pages a day will add up, and you'll find yourself reading more naturally and consistently. It's important to remember that consistency is more powerful than intensity. When it comes to building discipline, the key is showing up every day, no matter how small the step. The small wins you achieve will have a compounding effect. Every time you succeed in completing one of those small tasks, whether it's waking up early, making your bed, writing a few paragraphs, or sticking to a diet for a day, you reinforce the habit and prove to yourself that you can follow through. These little wins matter because they build a foundation of success that you can continue to build on. When you commit to doing something, even on the days when you don't feel like it, you're reinforcing a pattern of behavior that becomes more automatic over time. Eventually, it will feel unnatural to break the habit, just as it feels unnatural now to start it. Another important aspect of discipline is the ability to recognize that setbacks are part of the journey, not the end of it. When you're working to build new habits, there will be days when things don't go according to plan. You might skip a workout, miss a deadline, or eat something you didn't intend to. It's easy to let these setbacks derail your progress, but this is where the true power of discipline lies. It's in how you respond to failure. Will you allow a single mistake to cause you to quit entirely? Or will you pick yourself back up and keep going? Developing discipline means accepting that mistakes happen and using them as learning opportunities, not as reasons to give up. Over time, as you continue to build your small daily disciplines, you'll begin to notice a shift in your mindset. You'll no longer see discipline as something that's forcing you to act against your will. Instead, you'll see it as a tool that empowers you to achieve your dream. Discipline is no longer about resisting temptation or avoiding distractions. It's about prioritizing what truly matters and aligning your actions with your values and goals. It's a sign of strength and self-respect to follow through on your commitment. As you practice discipline daily, you'll also start to realize that the benefits of discipline extend far beyond achieving specific goals. Discipline isn't just about making progress in one area of your life. It's a mindset that spills over into every part of your life. The discipline you develop in your work can help you in your relationships, your health, your personal growth, every area of life that matters to you. The habits you create today are the foundation for your future success. Moreover, discipline helps you develop the kind of resilience that is necessary for handling life's challenges. The more disciplined you become, the more you can weather difficult situations, because you've built the mental strength to keep going. You've trained your mind to focus on the task at hand, to prioritize what's important, and to resist the urge to quit when things get tough. And remember, discipline isn't about perfection, it's about progress. You don't need to be perfect to succeed. You just need to keep taking consistent action toward your goals. Each day, you have the opportunity to make progress, no matter how small. With that consistency, discipline becomes less of a struggle and more of a natural part of who you are. The small actions you take today will set the stage for the larger successes of tomorrow. In the long run, developing discipline isn't just about achieving a set of goals. It's about creating a lifestyle that allows you to be the best version of yourself. You'll find that discipline not only makes you more productive, but it also gives you the peace of mind that comes with knowing you're in control. It's a freedom born out of structure and consistency, and that's the true power of discipline. Starting small and building over time is how you create lasting, meaningful change. Motivation is something that people often look for before taking action, but the truth is, waiting for motivation is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. We've all been there, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for inspiration to strike, or hoping that we'll feel motivated enough to take that first step. But here's the truth. Motivation is not the spark that starts the fire. Action is the act of moving, of doing something, is what creates the momentum that fuels motivation. If you're sitting around waiting for the right time, or for some external source of motivation to kick in, you'll be waiting forever. You see, motivation doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It's not something you can summon on demand. It's not a magical force that suddenly ignites you and propels you into action. Motivation is a byproduct of doing. The more you take action, the more motivation you'll generate. In other words, the secret is to start moving, even when you don't feel like it. You don't need to feel motivated to take action. Taking action is what will eventually make you feel motivated. It's a cycle that feeds itself. The more you do, the more you want to, the more you act, the more your energy builds, and the more your motivation increases. This is the truth behind the concept of motion creating emotion. If you wait for the motivation to arrive before you take action, you're going to be stuck in a never-ending loop. The key to breaking free from this is to take that first step. No matter how small it may seem, it's not about waiting for the perfect moment, or for all the stars to align. It's about making the decision to do something, and then acting on it, even if you don't feel like it. When you make that decision to start, the momentum that follows will keep you going long after you've overcome the initial resistance. When you think about it, most of the time, we don't feel like doing what we need to do, whether it's exercising, writing, studying, or even just getting out of bed early. There's always that voice in our heads that says, "I'll do it later." The key here is to realize that later never comes, unless you make it happen now. You have to learn to push through the resistance. You have to tell yourself, "I'm going to do this, even if I don't feel like it." And once you take that first step, you'll often find that the resistance melts away. It's not as hard as it seemed in your head. The simple act of starting breaks the barrier, and what felt like a mountain turns out to be a molehill. Another critical point here is that perfection is the enemy of progress. People often wait for the perfect conditions, the right mindset, or the ideal environment before they take action. They think, "I'll start once I have everything in place." But the truth is, waiting for everything to be perfect means you'll never start. The perfect moment will never come. Life doesn't work that way. Instead, you need to get comfortable with imperfection and start where you are. Don't wait for everything to align. Take imperfect action. It doesn't matter if things aren't perfectly planned, or if you're not fully prepared. What matters is that you get started and figure it out as you go. Taking action
doesn't require you to be an expert or to have all the answers. It just requires you to show up and do the work. Think about it like learning to ride a bike. When you first start, you don't know exactly how it will feel, how to balance perfectly, or what you're doing, but you keep pedaling, keep adjusting, then keep moving forward. Eventually you figure it out. That's what action does for you. It teaches you, it refines your process, and it makes things clearer as you move forward. The key is to get on the bike. The clarity comes through the action, not before it. Over time, as you continue to take action, you'll find that motivation comes more easy. The more you show up, the more you build momentum, then the more motivated you'll feel. The energy you put into each step becomes its own reward, and it propels you into the next step. Before you know it, you've reached a place where taking action is second nature. The motivation doesn't need to be forced. It's already there, because it's been built on a foundation of consistent action. So the next time you find yourself waiting for motivation to strike, remind yourself that the only way to truly feel motivated is to don't wait for motivation to show up at your door. Go out and find it by doing the work. Start small, take one step, and let the momentum take care of the rest. When you stop waiting for motivation to push you, and instead make the decision to move, you'll discover that the motivation you've been waiting for was always inside of you, just waiting to be unlocked by action.
One of the most significant obstacles to success is the inability to stay committed, especially when the going gets tough. It's easy to start a project or a new habit when things are fresh, exciting, and full of potential. But when the initial excitement fades and the challenges begin to arise, many people fall off track. They lose focus, they get discouraged, and they quit. The key to overcoming this is learning how to stay consistent, even when motivation seems to have disappeared and the path forward looks uncertain. Success isn't about starting something. It's about finishing it. And that requires an unwavering commitment to follow through, no matter what. Consistency is the backbone of progress. It's the small, seemingly insignificant actions you take every day that compound over time to produce results. You might not see immediate rewards, and that's the hardest part. You put in the work, day after day, but the results don't always appear right away. That's where most people falter. They expect to see quick, visible progress. And when they don't, they lose faith in the process. But the truth is, results take time. You must trust the process, even when the results are not immediately evident. The key is to keep showing up, keep doing the work, even on the days when you don't feel like it. Think about the process of building a house. The foundation is laid first, but it takes time before the structure starts to take shape. There's a lot of digging, a lot of planning, and a lot of hard work that happens in the beginning that isn't immediately visible. It's only when the walls start to go up and the house begins to take form that you can see the fruits of your labor. Success is no different. It's about doing the hard work behind the scenes that may not get recognized immediately, but that ultimately leads to the tangible results you want. It's in the quiet, consistent effort that the foundation for success is built. Staying committed is also about developing resilience. Life is full of setbacks, challenges, and moments of doubt. There will be times when things don't go as planned, and it can feel like the universe is conspiring against you. But resilience is about bouncing back from those setbacks, not allowing them to define you or your journey. It's about getting up every time you fall and continuing to push forward, even when the odds seem stacked against you. Every successful person has faced challenges, but what sets them apart is their ability to stay the course, to keep going when others would give up. Another aspect of commitment is the willingness to make sacrifices. Success often requires that you give up something, whether it's time, comfort, or other distractions. It's about understanding that in order to achieve something meaningful, you have to prioritize it over other things in your life. You might have to wake up earlier, work longer hours, or let go of activities that are no longer serving you. It's about being willing to make short-term sacrifices for long-term gain. Sacrifice isn't a punishment. It's a necessary investment in your future. Every time you choose to stay focused and dedicated to your goals, you're making an investment in yourself. One of the most powerful ways to stay committed is to have a clear vision of why you're doing what you're doing. When you have a strong sense of purpose, it becomes easier to push through the tough time. This is why it's essential to have a deeply personal reason for why you want to achieve your goals. It's not enough to just want something because it sounds good or because someone else wants it for you. Your reason must be meaningful to you. It should be something that excites you, something that fuels you, something that gives you the energy to keep going when the going gets tough. When you're connected to your why, it becomes much easier to remain committed, even when obstacles arise. Accountability is also a critical factor in staying committed. It's often said that we rise by lifting others, and having someone to hold you accountable can significantly increase your chances of success. Whether it's a mentor, a friend, or a support group, having someone to check in with to encourage you and to remind you of your goals can be a game changer. When you're accountable to others, you're less likely to give up when things get hard because you know someone is counting on you. This sense of responsibility adds an extra layer of commitment that can make a significant difference. Above all, staying committed requires patience. It's easy to get frustrated when things aren't moving as quickly as you want. But the truth is that success is a marathon, not a sprint. You're building something lasting, something worthwhile. It's not about getting there fast. It's about getting there and staying there. Patience allows you to trust the process, to keep working toward your goals, even when you don't have immediate results to show for it. It's about having the persistence to keep putting in the work, knowing that your efforts will pay off in the long run. Ultimately, commitment is about making a decision and sticking to it, regardless of the challenges you face. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, and continuing to do the work. Consistency, resilience, sacrifice, a clear vision, accountability, and patience are the pillars that support commitment. When you stay committed to your goals, even in the face of adversity, you build the kind of momentum that leads to success. And it's this unwavering dedication that will take you from where you are to where you want to be. The path to success is rarely a straight line. In fact, it is often filled with unexpected turns, obstacles, and moments of doubt. No matter how much planning, preparation, and hard work you put in, life has a way of throwing curveballs when you least expect them. The true test of your commitment to your goals, your dreams, and your vision for the future is how you handle these setbacks. It's in those moments of difficulty and frustration that your resilience is built. What defines a successful person isn't that they avoid failure, but that they know how to respond to it and use it as a stepping stone to greater achievement. The reality is that setbacks are inevitable. You can do everything right, follow all the strategies, work tirelessly, and still encounter obstacles that slow you down or put you off course. The key to overcoming these challenges lies in how you respond to them. Too many people allow setbacks to define them, to convince them that they aren't capable or that they are destined for failure. They see a single setback as a permanent defeat, when in fact, setbacks are temporary. It's how you handle those moments of adversity that will determine your future success. The first step in dealing with setbacks is to reframe your mindset. Instead of seeing failure as something negative, try to view it as a learning experience. Every failure, every setback, carries with it valuable lessons. Maybe you didn't get the outcome you wanted, but you can always find something in that experience that can make you better, stronger, and more knowledgeable. The ability to learn from failure is what turns temporary setbacks into permanent progress. Failure is not final. It's just a lesson that needs to be learned. It's the person who fails, learns from it, and keeps moving forward, who ultimately finds success. When faced with challenges, it's essential to stay focused on your long-term vision. It's easy to get distracted by the current struggle, to feel overwhelmed by the difficulty of the task in front of you. But when you shift your focus back to your long-term goals, it becomes easier to keep going. Your dreams are bigger than any setback or obstacle, and remembering why you started in the first place will give you the strength to push through. The bigger picture is what will sustain you when the daily grind feels impossible. It's also important to take responsibility for your role in the setback. While there are many things that are outside of our control, there's always something we can learn from each situation. Did you make a mistake that contributed to the problem? Did you fail to plan for a potential obstacle? Were there areas where you could have done better? Taking ownership of your actions, your choices, and your results, even when things don't go as planned, puts you in a position of power. When you accept responsibility, you empower yourself to make the necessary adjustments and corrections. Blaming external circumstances or other people doesn't solve anything, but taking responsibility allows you to make changes that will improve your chances of success next time. One of the most valuable skills you can develop when facing setbacks is perseverance. It's the ability to keep going, even when you're tired, frustrated, or disheartened. Perseverance is what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who give up along the way. When things get tough, it's easy to quit, to tell yourself that it's not meant to be. But the truth is, the most successful people are often those who have failed the most. They've faced countless setbacks, but they kept getting up. They understand that perseverance is the bridge between where they are and where they want to be. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about pushing through it and learning how to navigate the rough waters. In addition to perseverance, it's critical to develop a strong support system. Facing setbacks alone can feel incredibly isolating, but when you have a network of friends, family, or mentors who can offer advice, encouragement, and perspective, it becomes much easier to keep going. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who remind you of your strengths and capabilities. These individuals can help you see things from a different angle, provide support when you feel discouraged, and motivate you to keep moving forward. Don't be afraid to reach out for help or guidance when you need it. The right support system can make all the difference. Another important point is the need for self-care during times of setback. It's easy to get consumed by the struggle, to feel like you have to keep pushing nonstop. But the truth is, taking care of your mental, emotional, and physical health is essential for long-term success. When you're overwhelmed by setbacks, it's easy to burn out, to lose your energy and motive. Taking breaks, getting enough sleep, exercising, and engaging in activities that recharge you can give you the energy and clarity you need to keep moving forward. Remember, success isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. You need to pace yourself and take care of yourself along the way to avoid exhaustion and burnout. Finally, trust the process. Setbacks can make you question whether you're on the right path, whether you're doing enough, or whether your goals are achievable. But trust that every challenge, every setback, is part of the journey. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process of learning, growing, and adapting. Keep taking small, consistent steps forward, and trust that in time, the pieces will fall into place. You might not always see the progress, but if you keep showing up, you will get closer to your goal. Setbacks are just temporary detours, not dead ends. Keep moving, keep learning, and keep growing. Your perseverance and resilience will eventually lead you to success. Ultimately, setbacks are an inevitable part of life, but they don't have to define you. Your response to these challenges is what truly matters. By maintaining the right mindset, staying focused on your goals, taking responsibility, persevering, leaning on your support system, practicing self-care, and trusting the process, you will find the strength to push through. The road to success is rarely easy, but the lessons learned through setbacks make the victory all the more meaningful. Keep going. Every challenge you face is just one more step on the path to achieving your dream. When it comes to achieving any significant goal in life, one of the biggest factors is your ability to take consistent action. It's easy to make grand plans, set ambitious goals, and even dream about the success you want. But dreams alone are not enough. It's what you do on a daily basis that determines whether or not you will achieve those dreams. Taking consistent action means showing up every day and doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing what's necessary, even when motivation seems low, and pushing yourself past the point of comfort. This is the cornerstone of all success, whether personal or professional. The most successful people in the world have one thing in common. They are willing to do what most others won't. It's easy to look at someone who has achieved great success and think that it happened overnight, or that they are naturally gifted. What most people fail to see is the daily grind, the effort that goes on behind the scenes,
long before any success becomes visible. The truth is, success is built on consistency. If you want to accomplish anything of value, you need to make a habit of taking consistent, deliberate action toward that goal. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And progress comes from showing up every day, no matter how small the action. One of the key reasons people fail to take consistent action is that they get discouraged by lack of immediate results. We live in a society that's conditioned to expect instant gratification. Whether it's fast food, immediate messaging, or quick fixes, we've come to expect everything to happen quickly, but real success doesn't work like that. It takes time, effort, and patience. Most people give up too soon because they don't see immediate results. But the truth is, progress is cumulative. The small actions you take today, the work you put in now, will pay off down the line. You may not see the rewards right away, but as long as you keep moving forward, the results will eventually show up. Success is not an event, it's a process. Another reason people struggle with consistent action is that they allow emotions to dictate their behavior. There will be days when you don't feel like working, when you're tired, stressed, or simply not motivated. And that's okay. What separates successful people from the rest is that they don't let emotions control their actions. They understand that feelings come and go, but the work still needs to be done. If you wait for the perfect mood or the perfect time to take action, you'll be waiting forever. Instead, learn to do what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Discipline is the ability to act in the face of discomfort, and the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. Consistency also requires a commitment to long-term goals. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day distractions or the latest shiny object, but to achieve meaningful success, you have to keep your eyes on the bigger picture. You must remember why you started in the first place. Your long-term goals should drive your daily action. Whether your goal is to build a business, get in shape, learn a new skill, or write a book, the key is to break down that big goal into small, manageable tasks. Each day, take one small step in the direction of your goal. It may not feel like much, but those small steps will accumulate over time. And when you look back, you'll see how far you've come. Another challenge that many people face in taking consistent action is the fear of failure. This fear can paralyze you, making you afraid to start or to take the next step. But the truth is, failure is not something to be afraid of. It's part of the journey. Everyone who has achieved anything worthwhile has encountered failure at some point. The difference is that successful people don't let failure stop them. They let it teach them. Each failure is a lesson that helps you improve, adjust your approach, and get better the next time. In fact, failure can be one of your best teachers. It's not a sign that you should give up. It's an opportunity to learn and grow. It's also essential to develop a mindset of perseverance. Taking consistent action means that you won't always see instant results, and you will face obstacles and setbacks along the way. But it's in those moments that your perseverance will make all the difference. Success isn't about never facing challenges. It's about facing them head on and continuing to move forward despite them. Perseverance is the quality that keeps you going when others would. It's about being resilient, not letting setbacks define your journey, and pushing through even when things aren't going as planned. If you can develop this quality, you'll find that you have the ability to overcome anything that comes your way. Consistency also means tracking your progress. Without tracking, it's easy to lose sight of how far you've come, or feel like you're not making any progress at all. Tracking allows you to see the progress you've made, no matter how small. It keeps you accountable and helps you stay focused on your goal. Even if the progress is slow, it's still progress. By documenting your actions, you also create a sense of accomplishment, which fuels your desire to keep going. Ultimately, taking consistent action is about making a commitment to yourself and your goals. It's about deciding that you will show up every day, regardless of how you feel, and put in the effort required to move closer to your dreams. Success doesn't come from a one-time burst of effort. It comes from showing up consistently, doing the work day after. It's about making progress, even if that progress is small, because over time, those small steps add up to something significant. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about persistence. Keep going, even when it's hard, and you will see the result.